Little corner says Kamal Hussein Penjueni, 7/9/1989, 18/8/1990. And it's right here in this corner before the bathroom. Wow. Very impressive. And here's the door. I don't know if it's the original one though. No idea. Yes, they did a good job preserving those walls. That way, you know, destructive elements will not come in and add their own little Jason was here or Brian was here, you know. So those are the cells. And there's graffiti all over, so that's why it's protected by the plastic sheet. This piece of wire was connected to a hidden microphone to listen secretly to the detainees' conversations, such hidden devices were fixed everywhere. So, and then this fell over here. It says, first kind of torture was always started by applying psychological methods, aiming at destroying the spirit of the detainees. They were kept standing in this room for hours, and every pass by security officer was putting out his cigarette in their skin, kicking them in was typical manner of those barbarisms. What is this? This is cage prison cell number 1. This room area is 87 square meters. It contains several toilets, but they were often used as prison cells too. There were always around 150 adult and younger men detained here. This room was specialized for those detainees who passed through the torture and investigation stages. They were kept as temporary waiting detention before being transferred to a revolutionary court. The surviving eyewitnesses tell that each of them could get only 2 mosaic spaces to spend detention periods. This cell was a special cell for women. A lot of women gave birth in this cell. A lot of women came in with babies, like the one portrayed here. There were up to 50 women incarcerated here, and you can see the graffiti there. It's just not translated into anything, but there's a lot of graffiti behind the plastic coverage. And this is the one toilet only for 50 women incarcerated here. 50 women and kids. The resistance part of the museum, resistance is the resistance museum. And in this room, during the Ba'athist regime of Saddam Hussein, this was the room for the prison director, Captain Majid. And these are some of the victims of the regime, and the photos of the heroes who were detained in Amna Suraka prison. There were Kurdish Peshmerga, and there's some pretty bad video about torturing. Damn. It was the room of the office of Judge Abdul Razak. And here are some of his documents, I'm assuming. Here's a photo of a number of death certificates for the martyrs who were executed by the Ba'ath regime, who were shot dead or filtered under torture, it says there. So all those are death certificates, and those are just a few. Because we know that, from 1979 to 1991, there was a lot of people condemned. There's Mr. Hussein and the victims above. And they even filmed that shit. And the legend says this rope was used in Abu Ghraib prison to execute the Kurdish heroes. It was brought by Omar Kamal Hama and Kamal Ahmad Fatah, who participated in the process of Iraq liberation in 2003. And then they gifted to this museum to remain as a symbol of our resistance. We come to the little chamber of torture. This is specifically torture to make people confess. So, wow, here's reenactment. Somebody getting beaten, just like on the video we just witnessed in another room. Wow, damn. Well, Vietnam and Hanoi had the Hanoi Hilton. This room right here in this prison was called the Sheraton, because the people here was not going to be tortured, but the door was left open so they could hear the groaning and the screaming from the people being tortured in the other rooms. So they were left here. They were family members, or they were the suspects themselves, and that's why it was called the Sheraton. That room, right? This is, right here, this corridor is the one that they led prisoners through. I saw it a little while ago. So they would let him into the torture chamber through here. The legend says that usually those walls were stained with blood all the time, as well as in here, because they were rushed in, and on the way into the torture chamber, they were already beaten up, and they knew what was going on. And there it is, the scene of torture we witnessed before. Another torture chamber. People here where they would apply them electric shocks or being hanged. The legend here says that this chair and this desk were the original ones used by the security investigators when they were questioning the detainees, and somebody kept them when the fall of the regime and kindly donated them to the museum. The table too. Not there, but I just noticed something right here, and it doesn't have any legend. an R smeared with blood. There it is. Some gruesome graffiti. Wow.